Boys,
Brother
Mingo. How are we all? Are we all well? We all
That was
well?
beautiful.
Good Friday, guys. Happy Good Friday.
Happy Good Friday.
We made it.
Happy Good Friday. Good Friday.
And to all a good night.
Happy Good Friday. Joe mentioned earlier, very funnily,
What?
every year since we started, we release an episode on Good Friday.
I know, right?
Every Good Friday.
And I was like, what are the chances of that? And then I went,
Wait.
oh, that makes sense. 100% chance.
Yeah,
of that.
100%.
For me, every Friday is a Good Friday.
They're
Every Friday for me
Wow.
is a great Friday.
Oh.
And then one day of the year I have to take a knee
Yeah.
and say, this is a
Let
Good Friday.
it be good.
That's true.
good.
Why do we call the day that Jesus died Good Friday?
No one knows.
Like, what makes it good?
I don't know.
Let's ask freaking our best friend of the show,
Jesus.
God.
Yeah.
Chat GPT.
There was a few people that I thought you... There was one bloke in particular who we've been chatting to quite a bit recently who I thought you might be about to call and ask for that very...
Pope Francis.
Madonna 2.0. What was his
Archbishop.
name? Minogue
Minogue.
2.0. I thought it was going to be, but we're going to chat instead.
Archbishop Timothy Costello. You know when chat like loads?
Oh, it's good fun.
Yeah. You can tell
Suspense
it's coming
is-
back with something juicy. It's thinking.
The suspense is upon us.
Good equals holy or pious.
Pious.
Pious, yeah.
Pontius Pious.
What does pious mean, Joe?
I guess good / holy.
Yeah, the term good in Good Friday likely comes from an older usage of the word meaning holy, righteous, or sacred. Not good as in happy or positive. It also sounds like goodbye, which similar to goodbye, which originally meant good God be with ye. Oh! They went hard with goodbye.
God be with.
there.
That's a good. Imagine you're saying goodbye to someone. It's a Friday. You're heading off. God be with you.
Wow.
And also with you.
And also with you and with your spirit.
Other countries call it different things. So in Germany, they call it Karfreitag Friday, which means sorrowful Friday.
Oh,
See, that's
yeah.
more
That would-
appropriate.
Yeah, in my opinion.
In French, they say Vendredi Saint equals, which also means Holy Friday.
Even holy's nice.
Holy's good.
And Verno Santo.
Good
not
is not
good.
good.
Good is.
Verno Santo. Homo is Spanish for Holy Friday as well.
There you go. Well,
you go,
you can't leave this week's episode saying you didn't learn anything.
That's it. Good Friday. Get up and about.
Now, Joey, you love books. So the idea of trading in a book club for an album club seemed
Gimpy.
bizarre. Bit of a twist of personality, maybe?
Yeah, so for the past almost 2 years, me and my buddies have been doing album club,
Hell yeah.
which is where we pick an album and we all listen to it. And then we come back and we discuss a month later.
I like it.
A whole month. So you got to have it on. Do you listen to it once or is it like this is exclusively all you can listen to for a
No,
month?
you listen to it as much as you can, as much as you need to, as much as you want to get into the album.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you discuss, some people bring up these are the lyrics that I like.
Oh, yeah.
I looked up the meaning of this track.
Nice.
Okay.
It's good. We get into it and then we obviously rate out of 10 the album.
Ooh.
I do find these sorts of things, book clubs, album club, mind you, you're the only album club I've ever heard of. Book clubs I'm well aware of.
Yeah.
I find them tough because you're often with quite a large, let's say 8 people,
Yep.
varying levels of interest.
Yeah.
And then, I struggle to read the books that I've gone out and fucking bought myself, let alone someone being like, all right, by the way, this month, you got to read that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want to read. I've never had an interest in that.
That's why album club is good because the longest album we've done is probably an hour 10.
Yep.
So it's it's not that much of a commitment to listen to.
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
crack it
that's
out
true.
in 1/24th of a day.
Yeah, so the typical, what we do is it's 7 young hip lads and we get together and we crank out an album.
Yeah.
And then obviously you're hanging out with the boys, you got to be drinking.
Yeah.
So we'll be cracking down some tea.
Yeah.
That's right. We'll be sipping an Earl Grey, potentially a herbal, and we're just sort of getting into the nitty gritty.
So you literally all just sit around and drink tea?
Yeah, we do. And then actually, we used to go around to different houses, but recently some of the boys have moved out. That's right. It's a bit of a party house we've been going to lately. So album club has changed dare I say, dramatically.
Right.
Now we get to
Now
album
we're
club.
we're bashing up Coke.
'Cause
We're
we
racking
had-
up lines.
We had Album Club here a couple times.
Yeah, how would you describe it?
To be a fly on the wall. I never saw it. I never saw it in
No,
action.
it was cool. Yeah, it was chill. It was cash.
Where
It
did
was
you?
nice.
Which room of the house did you do it in?
If it was summer, we'd venture outside.
Okay. What?
If it was winter,
Albums
we'd
by
head
the-
indoors.
Albums by the pool. What,
Yeah,
what about when you're indoors? Which room?
the lounge
main.
room.
Where mum and dad.
So where
are
would you
right
put the
now.
rest of the family? They just told
They
me.
fucked off because
Oh.
it was album club, baby.
Where's it coming over?
But
Okay.
things have changed lately because we've actually been going to friend of the show, guest of the show, Wesley Black's house.
Massive. Has he moved out?
Yeah, he lives with
Don't mention
Couple of
names.
the boys.
two other boys,
Yeah,
two
cool,
other
that's
lads.
Things
And-
must be going well for Big
Must
Wes.
be very nice.
That
over there.
international tour he did last year.
Yeah.
Must be paying.
To Costa
very,
Rica.
Very nice. What happens in Costa Rica stays in Costa Rica.
So now things have devolved a bit because now we get there and sort of people get there early. Some people are tardy in the group. They get there late.
How
So
late?
while we're like an hour and a half sometimes.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, some
they're,
of these
they're
guys,
cramming. They're listening to the music in the car in
Yeah.
the driveway.
some of these, they are tardy and they are known to be tardy. So we get there and then while we're waiting, we crank either
Each other.
YouTube compilations of people slipping over,
Nice.
animals gone wild,
Magpie.
or there are these YouTube channels, right, where it's like a quiz, but it's like a 10-minute long YouTube video.
Yeah, yeah.
That's just like a quiz.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool.
So we just do them.
Music ones.
Music, film,
Yeah, yeah.
anything.
Me and my mates did that when we had Kate on. Remember, we did one about music, and it was if you got one wrong, you had to strip.
Yeah, we don't do that quite.
Imagine that you come late to album club and there's just like 6 blokes in the nude.
Cranking each other.
Yeah, we also will. Wesley Black is very much into his WWE.
Yeah.
We were watching some of that. He'll
Hell
show
yeah.
us the highlights, give us a bit of the backstory.
Fantastic.
John Cena's turned evil. Pretty crazy.
Right.
But this latest one, we did a country album.
Ooh.
A country album from the 60s called Tans Van Zandt.
I'm familiar.
I opened the door. I was the first one there. And then the two boys who lived there in Album Club are rocking full cowboy
I love
kits
that.
with the bolo, you know,
love
the
that.
bolo tie.
Yeah, yeah. The rope one.
Yeah, the rope one. Rope tie. We walk in. They give me a cowboy hat because we're waiting for the guy who picked it because obviously
Oh, okay.
he's
yeah.
going to be up and about. They're all dressed as cowboys.
That's cool. I
Yeah.
like that. That's nice. That's nice community.
And then we didn't really think much of it. We talked about the album. Those guys were still dressed as cowboys. And then we get a knock on the door.
Oh, someone came a knocking.
And then so Ricky gets up.
Were you not
heads to
expecting
the-
a knock on the door?
We
though?
were not expecting a knock on the
Everyone's
door.
coming to the party.
He gets a knock on the door, runs to there, and then we just hear door opens, a voice that says, "Oh, I bet you weren't expecting me." And it was in like a middle-aged woman's voice.
Hell yeah, dude. Who
And-
ordered her?
And there's 3 blokes in cowboy
Cowboy
gear
gear, yeah.
sitting on the couch.
Naked, cranking each other.
And then she walks in and she says, she like, again.
She walks
so
in, so she comes into the house.
She's in like the lounge room now.
Right.
And yeah, like Ricky's still dressed as a cowboy.
Wesley Black. Yeah.
Wesley, yeah. And she's like, firstly, who is here is in the red type of a car, like an Anaconda,
Oh,
the
yeah.
red Kia, let's say.
I know who that
Okay.
is.
And then she says, because you're illegally parked. And then we're like, oh shit, it's a park knock. But
Oh,
she says, you're illegally parked and you've just been reversed into by the girl that lives they're in like a unit, you know, there's that units or whatever.
Yeah.
By one of the girls who lives 2 units down. And by the way, and then she was like,
And
yeah,
he's
so
dressed as a cowboy.
this one's not dressed as a
Oh,
cowboy.
okay.
The sheriff's are though.
Right. Your horse has been killed.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to go out and duel them.
Yeah.
So she's like, "There, you've been hit. You've been rear-ended, not rear-ended, backed into."
Yeah, yeah.
And she's
But
like,
how?
so he was It's so there's like a street, right, and then in the middle of the street there's like a median strip that's not. There's nothing there. It's like just
Yeah,
a
yeah.
big block there.
Okay.
And like,
you're not meant to park there, though.
yeah, there's so many cars on the street that park there.
Right.
I park on the curb, but it's even at the point where I'm like, no one else is parking on the curb. Am I doing the wrong thing?
Right.
Apparently the curb is good to go. Good to go, guys. That's that's parking advice I can.
Like,
Put my finger on.
1 out of 3 ain't bad, I guess.
Anyway, so she's like, yeah, you're illegally parked. You've been backed into. My son saw it happen. And
They're going to press charges against
and also
you.
it was 2 units down. It was their friend. And then she was like, oh, and by the way, don't go down there. They are dodgy as fuck.
Oh.
Yeah.
And so
then
did they drove off?
They drove off, yeah.
Oh, so the guy has had his car smashed up, and then the person who hit
It's
it
a hit and run.
has run. Yeah,
It's a
cool.
Simpsons hit and run.
Oh, so
Good
now,
time to be dressed as a cowboy if you're going to be in pursuit of someone, I guess.
But now, so originally the guy who was illegally parked was in the wrong, even if they backed out into them because they're in the wrong.
Just because you're parked in the wrong spot doesn't mean
you can drive into a car.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, but then you have a defense. You say, well, there's not meant to be a car there legally.
yeah, but you're not meant to
So-
I
hit.
think hit and run
Yeah, well, now that you've run,
is worse than
then you're back in the
in the
cage.
grips of the law.
Yeah.
Yes. So he ended up writing a note
Oh,
to
no.
the first house to get the CCTV.
Oh,
And
has
then
he got
we'll
it?
see how it goes from there.
Oh,
But we haven't heard anything else.
No, this is 2 days ago.
And which part of the car did they bonk?
The front.
Okay. So could he drive
side.
home?
He could drive home. It was just scratched.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, this could be one for the sheriffs.
This is huge.
That's massive.
More on this soon, I hear.
Yeah,
I hope.
hopefully this.
Hopefully, yeah. And
Hopefully it comes to a nice resolution. But
Yeah.
if it takes a while, that could also be.
yeah, and
Quite
also
fun.
it was kind of like at first everyone was like, "Oh shit, like that's crazy," and then
Who was the woman? Just the neighbor.
just the neighbor, yeah.
And
Have-
she knew the bloke who lived at the house. She was familiar with these people.
Yeah, she knows.
Okay.
Yeah, she
And-
knows.
Like did the cowboy dress up get mentioned?
Not at all. And then,
So he walked to the door,
yeah,
dressed fully as a cowboy, and at no point
And he
did
lassoed
mention,
her.
no. And it's like,
And then she came
I
out
was
and
also-
sat and saw 3 blokes
and
sitting.
the two guys who lived there were dressed as cowboys, and then like no one else was dressed as cowboys. So it's not like it was a cowboy themed thing. It's just like, oh, these guys are cowboys, and they're my
Yeah.
neighbors.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did notice. Like,
If I walked in to anyone's house and it was a group of lads sitting on a couch and 2 of them were dressed up as cowboys, I would very much be thinking this is a little bit of a Brokeback Mountain
Yeah,
type
for sure.
situation going on.